Hello guys, and welcome to day 5 of the 14-day weight loss challenge. Today is going to be quite a longer video, and there's a reason behind that, because this is quite a in-depth topic. I won't try and get too much into it, but really just cover the bare bones and the nuts and bolts as to what you can do today, tomorrow, the following day, and so on and so on and so on, to build and start changing your current habits and improving them and getting them into a direction where you're going to start seeing different benefits. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start seeing the results of what you've been working hard towards over the last couple of days. Now, when it comes to behavioural change and changing habits, there's lots of different sort of ways to go about it. I'm just going to try and keep it to the simplest things and things that you can do already without having to change a whole heap of stuff. At the end of the day, I'm not here to try and reinvent the wheel. I'm here to just try and keep that wheel spinning so it doesn't get stuck, and so it's spinning a little bit more freely and you're getting the best from it without sort of having to replace the wheel, put it on a different axis and just trying to change it all. That's not what it's all about. Not necessarily anyway. Sometimes there is some certain instances where you may have to do that, but for the purpose of what I'm going to talk about today, I'm just going to talk you through what you can do currently, the things that you are doing currently, and how you can start nudging them in the right direction. So, defining human behavioural change. And it's summed up by a great phrase by Robert Collier: success is the sum of small effects repeated day in, day out. So that's the success is the sum of all efforts repeated in, day out. So just doing the small little things can contribute towards gathering momentum, getting you going, creating a more of a solid routine and structure. So within like a couple of weeks, a month, you don't even realise you're doing it because it just becomes so habitual. It's a habit. I always say to clients, do you remember the first time you were told to brush your teeth? The second time you forgot? Your mum or your dad would be on you saying, have you brushed your teeth? And you'd be like, yeah, because you just couldn't be bothered. And then once you understand the benefits and why it's important to brush your teeth, you start doing it more. And then before you know it, it's part of your bathroom routine without even you really thinking about it. Toothpaste on the toothbrush, toothbrush is in the mouth, you brush away for however long, 2 minutes or whatever it is, rinse that toothbrush out, put it on the side, and out the door and off to do whatever it is you're doing for the rest of the day. Same before you go to bed. It becomes a routine. Brush your teeth before you go to bed. Get up in the morning, have a shower, have a wash, brush your teeth. These are all little routines that we've picked up, things that we've tweaked, things that we'll modify, things that will change. The same is the exact same with nutrition. You can do the same thing. So it's the small little efforts that you do day in, day out, which will contribute towards your success. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a 3-stage pattern to doing that, and it's by James Clear. It's a guy that's kind of created this 3-step approach to changing your habits. And that's a reminder, a routine, and a reward. So the reminder is having something out in front of you. The reminder is the toothbrush. The routine is to then pick up the toothbrush, brush your teeth. The reward is you feel good because your mouth tastes a whole lot better than what it was before. It's minty and fresh. You know that you've cleaned your teeth and you've just done something good for your oral hygiene and probably got any loose spinach stuck out of your teeth. So that is the sort of the 3-stage with that. So reminder, so you're looking at something, the routine, you take that, and then the reward is the benefits you get from it. So yesterday's video we talked about protein. So this comes in really, really well now. So the reminder is you've got that checklist. The routine is to check off what you've got on that checklist, and the reward is, yes, I've got it on my plate. You do that over 3 meals, bingo. That's 1 day done. You repeat them small little efforts every single day, then you've just created a successful week. If you don't get it every day, it's not a big problem. It's not a problem if you only get 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It's the attempt that you're making at it. That's what you've got to pay attention to. Try to look at the positives rather than the negatives. So if you look back and go, well, I only got like 3 days out of 7, then 3 days is better than 2 days. 2 days is better than 1 day. 1 day is better than, you guessed it, no days at all, and you haven't changed a thing. So just remember that these sort of habits aren't going to change overnight. It's not going to just automatically click with you. That's why this 3-stage reminder, routine and reward pays dividends. It's probably the easiest and the simplest way to start looking at changing and improving your habits. So there's another way of doing this, and that is chaining a habit. So I get clients, and this is a really, really good one. Some of them will say, right, I'll say, how much oily fish do you eat a week? They're like, well, barely any. I say, have you thought about supplementing with a fish oil? I tell them the benefits. Taking a fish oil, it's helping with cognitive function. It can help break down and oxidize body fat. It can help with weight loss. It boosts up your omega-3s. So there's a whole host of benefits to taking a fish oil. Now, they'll say, no, I've never took them before, I'd be interested in taking them. So I then steer them in the direction to go and get some, to take some. I'll maybe check in with them, say, oh, how's everything going? How have you been taking your fish oils? Oh, I keep forgetting to take the fish oils, or I keep taking to take a multivitamin, or I keep forgetting to do this or that. And I'm like, that's fine, not a problem. What do you think would be best suited for you to remind yourself to remember to take those fish oils or that multivitamin? So, well, I don't know. I'll say, right, okay. When is the time do you think you'll be most likely to take a fish oil or a multivitamin or whatever it is that you forget? They'll tell me a time. I'll say, right, okay. All I want you to do is place that object in around that time that you think you're going to benefit or you're most likely to do it. This is usually around like a morning routine, so you can tie it in with like a bathroom routine. So, picked up the toothbrush, they're about to brush the teeth, they put the toothbrush down. As they put it down, fish oils are right next to the toothbrush. Bang, oh yeah, there's my fish oils. Take them, bang, there you go, done. They're not having to then go, right, let's go through the checklist. Have I done it all? Oh no, I forgot to take my fish oils. If it's there, it's a reminder. The routine is taking it. The reward is, bingo, I've done it. Happy days. This is probably the easiest way to start looking at improving and changing habits, and it's called making a chain of habits. So you've already got one habit. All you're doing now is creating another habit, a new and improved habit, and it piggybacks off the back of it. You don't have to go and start changing your whole routine on a morning. You don't have to start doing everything in reverse. You don't have to start mix and matching everything. All you do is just put something in with it. It's, if you imagine creating a dish or a meal, or you're cooking at home, you're not just going to have chicken on a plate. Well, I hope not. You're going to start adding vegetables to it. You're going to start adding carbohydrates to it. You're going to start adding other food sources and ingredients to it. You're going to add maybe a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of dressing. See this bridging or making a chain of habits exactly the same thing. Take one habit, find out one thing that you think would need improved on, and you attach it to that habit. Let's think of another one. So you are wanting to make lunch for the next day. When is the time that you're most likely to make that lunch? If it's the time that you're making your evening meal, would that not be a good time to maybe cook a little bit of additional food? Not having to change anything, not having to create anything. You're just adding a little bit extra in with the food that you're already preparing for your dinner, and then that is tomorrow's lunch. So look at what you're doing currently, look at the habits that you think, right, okay, how could I improve this? Right, I'm going to add this with it. Chain it. Create a long, massive chain. Then once over time you look at that chain, you can maybe start taking things out and adding other things in. It's as simple as that. When it comes to making and chaining these habits, it needs to be meaningful enough to make a difference, but simple enough that you can get it done. That isn't my quote. I robbed that. That's from James Clear. So whatever habit you are making, it needs to be meaningful enough to make a difference. Things like fish oil, having a protein in every meal, but simple enough that you can get it done without being too complex and having to rewire everything and restructure everything. Another great way of changing and bridging and chaining habits is using a if-then plan. So basically it's committing you to setting a goal that does not always equal success, but it's getting you to be a little bit more mindful about your behavioural changes. So what I mean by that is usually on an evening time when people are kind of winding down from work, they'll reach for a snack, a biscuit, maybe a bottle of beer, a glass of wine. If this is something that you're wanting to probably improve and change, this is when the if-then comes into effect. So let's take this scenario, you've just finished work, you're kicking back, you've had a long day, right. You're thinking about grabbing a snack, something that you probably want to try and change, like a bit of behavioural change, you want to try and change that. So then you're going to go, if I want something, then I need to think about what I'm going to do in place of that. So, having a plan. If I want a glass of wine, then I'm going to do something different. So let's take this scenario one step further. You're lying at home, chilling out. If I want a glass of wine, then what I'm going to do is maybe substitute that wine for something else. Be it a low-calorie alcoholic drink, maybe a non-alcoholic drink, maybe a glass of water with some squash in. It might even be, right, I'm then going to go out for a walk, clear my head, try and find something else that will kind of unwind and de-stress you, because a lot of people kind of rely on alcohol for that, just to try and just switch off. So instead of doing that, then maybe find an alternative. So if I want a glass of wine, then I'm going to do something different. It kind of just changes that behaviour. Your habits and current behaviours don't define who you are as a person. It's just things that you've picked up along the way. You can change these if you have an open mind and a little bit more willing, have a bit more of a willingness to do that. If I want a snack or a biscuit or a chocolate bar, then I'm going to find an alternative. Either, again, get up, get out of the chair, just try and break that habit. Just stop, pause and think, right, do I really want it? No, I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go change the channel, or I'm going to go in the other room, I'm going to make a phone call, or I'm going to do something a little bit different that changes that behaviour. Over time, that starts to kick in, and you start to be a little bit more mindful. What tends to happen is people just go on autopilot, they'll get in, they'll reach for the fridge, glass of wine, bottle of beer, reach for the cupboards, they'll go for a biscuit, a treat, sit, and then they'll go, I feel crap now. I shouldn't have had that. Now that doesn't do anybody any good at all thinking like that. Now I'm not saying you can't have that bottle of beer, that glass of wine, or that chocolate biscuit, or that snack. What I'm saying is, if that's something you want to change and improve on, then you need to look at the behaviours that drive that and try to stop that and create another alternative. And the last thing I kind of just want to talk about after talking about changing habits, a little bit of behavioural change and the things that you could do, what I want to talk about is probably the biggest part to everything that you do. And that's having a bit of ownership. Taking a little bit of responsibility for the things that you do. Try not to pass the buck or try to blame other factors that are in your life on those habits or those changes. Say, for example, you have quite a stressful job. You feel quite stressed after the day's work. You reach for the wine, you reach for the beer, you reach for the biscuits, you reach for the snack. You do something that's kind of not helping you. And then you go, well, it's because I've had a stressful day at work. It's because of work. It's because of this person. They've hacked me off. They've upset me. Now, you're not taking ownership for those factors, and you're allowing them to come in to where you are and taking over and pushing you away from where you want to be. Now, if you do enjoy a glass of wine because it's a treat, or you do enjoy a bottle of beer because it's a treat, or you do enjoy a snack because it's a treat, then that's perfect. You can factor those things in within your calories so you don't jump out of that calorie window. But if it's something that you feel is because of an external factor, a person, an event, a bad day at work, you need to stop yourself from using those factors as the reason why you're doing it, and take a little bit of autonomy and have a little bit of ownership and say, well, actually, I'm not allowing that to happen because I'm the one that's in control. I can't allow people at work that pee me off. I can't allow people, my next door neighbours, done something to hack me off. The person down the road, or someone you've just bumped into, or someone in works came in and gave you a bad day, or there's an event coming up, you're feeling stressed about it. Whatever it might be, you need to take a little bit of ownership and a little bit of autonomy and say, actually, if I'm allowing all those little things, those external factors to change my behaviour, I've got no current control on that, and I need to change that. That's when the if and the then method really does come into play. If someone pees me off, then I'm not going to go and do that, but I'm going to do this. So it's about changing, looking, and having a really good grasp on your control, autonomy, and ownership. There's no point blaming anyone else. Nobody's forcing you to do these things. You're allowing them to do it, nobody's forcing you. So you need to just really kind of just say, right, enough's enough, especially if it's not getting you and it's pushing you in the direction you want to go in, and it's kind of holding you back and hampering you. That is probably the biggest take-home point from any of this, is that whatever happens over the next remaining days on this challenge, whatever you do, whatever you decide is your choice. And if things don't go the way that you planned, or things didn't go how you expected, then there's no point looking out. You've got to start looking inward and start thinking, right, why didn't I do that? What held me back? Did I have control over that? Did I take ownership and autonomy over that? Because everything I'm giving you over the full 14 days is all you ever need to make any change. Little, big, or anything in between. Everything that you're getting will push you in the right direction if you take that ownership and that autonomy and have that bit of self-control. Now, there are some other factors around this, and this is where it starts getting into a little bit of a rabbit hole, which I'm definitely not going to get into, because one, I'm not qualified, and two, we're already up to nearly 20 minutes, and you're probably thinking, geez, how much longer is this video going to go on for? I can assure you not much longer. When people have eating disorders, when people have a clinical issue with their health, then these are when these factors I'm telling you probably aren't going to be effective enough, and so therefore you will probably need to address someone who's qualified and who's a professional in doing this. But unless you don't have things like an eating disorder or it's not a clinical issue, then everything I've just told you works, and you can do it. You must allow yourself to do it. You must allow yourself to take that control and not allow external factors to take over and start changing who you are as a person. Right, okay, so today's challenge is to start looking at your habits. Start looking at how you can change some habits together. Look at creating more of an if and a then style scenario. So if I want something, I probably don't need it, then I'm going to do something different. So chaining habits and an if and a then. Don't try and do both, just try and pick one, put 100% into it, focus on it and do as much as you can with it. Then I want you to kind of start writing these things down. I'm also going to attach a little checklist for you as well. It's going to be blank. What I want you to do is fill in that checklist, and then after this week's up, I want you to start posting your checklists up. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in the group, don't worry, not a problem. You can just email them over to me. Just ask me what my email address is. I'll send it over. You can send it over to me, and we can have a look at it together. It's not a problem. Right, okay, guys. It was a bit of a long video. There's a lot of important factors you need to take into account. So I'll speak to you all soon.